to celebrate fall by creating a contemporary collage of autumn trees. I created this one the other day. It's a daytime scene, and I think today I'm going to create a night scene to show you how to do this. It's very easy. You only need a few simple materials. You need a collection of papers. A variety of construction or craft paper is fine. I'm using 8.5 by 11, and I have a variety of colors. You need, of course, a scissors is very important. And I have a selection of Sharpie markers. I'll probably use the black and the silver today. And then I have a pencil, which I may or may not use. Of course, you need glue. I've got a glue stick and some regular Elmer's glue. And then you need a scrap piece of paper to put your glue on top of. So to get started, I'm going to select a dark blue for my background in the sky, because I want it to look like night. And then the next thing to do is to create our ground, some kind of grass. And it's fall, so your grass can be green, it could be brown or an ochre color, because the grass is changing. So I think I'm going to choose this kind of green color. And I want to make use of the bottom edge. And I'm just going to cut across kind of a simple feeling, and I'm going to paste that down on the bottom edge of my paper. So I used my scrap paper to glue on top of, and then I'm going to line up the edges at the bottom and the sides and just paste that down. And this piece of paper is a little bit larger than my blue one, so I'm just going to cut off the excess. And now I have my grass. My real grass is not this green right now. It's been very dry lately. There hasn't been much rain, but this is going to be a nighttime scene. So the next thing I need to do is draw a bunch of trees and cut them out. You don't actually even need to draw them, but I'm going to choose a selection of colors, maybe some ochre, some purple, perhaps some gray. The trees sometimes take on a silvery appearance at night, so I think I'm going to use a gray and some other colors as well. So I think I'll start with my gray, and I'm just going to draw kind of an oval. It's maybe 4 or 5 inches, depends on how big your paper is. Just like that. That will fit on the paper pretty well, and I'm going to cut that out. And I'm not even worried about going exactly on the lines because it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect. That's the beauty of this project. So that's going to be my first tree, and then I'm going to cut one out of purple here. This one's going to be a little more squat. So it's going to be a little more round. And you want your trees to be slightly different shapes, more or less the same size, but they should all look like they fit together. And I'm not going to paste anything down until I have all my trees cut out and I decide that I like how that looks. So I think I'll do a blue one here. Kind of the same shape as the first one. And you can cut almost any shape, but it's nice if the edges are rounded. So you could cut something triangular or more square. And I'm just gonna keep doing that, cut a bunch of these until I put them all together and I like what I see, and then I'm gonna glue them down. So you can see I have a bunch of different shapes here, and I'm gonna move them around until I decide I have a look I'm pleased with. And then I'm going to start to paste these down. And I'm going to paste the back ones first and then come forward. You can see I have a tree that's kind of a pear shape, one that's more round, some that are more oblong. None of them is perfect, and they don't much look like trees yet, but I promise you they will once we're finished. So I'm just going to take everything off the paper now, and I'm going to glue my back trees down first. So I have my back trees pasted down, and now I'm gonna continue with the next layer. And it's important to layer these because that's what really gives them their beautiful appearance. I've got my next layer of trees, and then I want to paste down the next group. You want to position them and then remove them and make sure you're getting the kind of effect you want. So my next layer will be these three. I'm going to paste those down. And here we go. I've got this layer down. It really doesn't matter what colors you use. You can decide what your color palette should be. You can also do vertical design if you prefer. The trees will probably be more stacked from top to bottom and will be more narrow if you decide to do that. And then I have my last two trees. I think this one was more like this. And I'm just going to paste those down. There's my last tree. Paste that down. Don't worry if you get a little glue on the paper because it dries clear. So once it's dried, you won't even see it. And there we have our trees that don't really look like trees yet. So the next thing we need to do, put my glue away, is to take a marker. You could use brown. I think I'm going to use black today. And what we need to do is to create trunks and stems for the trees. So starting from below the tree, I'm going to draw a straight line right up through the middle of it. And that's going to be my trunk. And it's not even exactly in the middle, and that doesn't matter. Now I'm going to start to create some designs. And for this one, I'm going to do some kind of typical tree trunk and branch designs. But the designs you choose are going to be different for each tree. And we're just going to do a selection of designs. And of course it should stop where it would go behind another tree. And I think that looks pretty good. And then for my next tree, I want to choose a different design. So for the silver one in the back, I'm going to draw the tree trunk right down the middle. And then I think you probably wouldn't see the trunk behind here because it wouldn't come down all the way. So I'm going to let it stop there. And I think I'm going to do maybe some curved designs. Every tree should have a slightly different design. And they should be simple, just lines like this. And that's what gives it its very contemporary look. And then I'm going to keep going, and every tree is going to have a similar line design, and they'll all be a little bit different. Now I've got all my designs. You can see each tree is a little different, and you can make up any design you like. But they should be simple line designs, and it's nice to have a couple that tie into each other here and there. I have ones with dots at the end in a couple places, and some that are more traditional looking tree branches, but they should all be a little bit different. And then the next thing is I want to add a moon because I want this to look like nighttime. So I'm going to add a crescent moon with my silver Sharpie marker. And fill it in. So I have a big, beautiful autumn moon. And then I'm going to add some stars. I'm just going to add little dots here and there for stars. So we have a beautiful, clear, starry autumn night. And there we go. It's just as simple as that.